of them, they say because she is so nice and she's so great and so on, and she tells such good stories and so on. Only once I managed to break through and I said, listen, you've got to tell me the real reason why you like that Skype-tail granny. And this guy looks at me with a wicked smile and says, because I can switch her off. So you see, so they have their word. So, okay, so now it's back to you. So you've got the democratic school. You've got a government that's not going to listen to you. You're going to change some things anyway. So how do you do it?
I think the first step is acknowledging that we have that power to do that. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm Dave Tobias from Black Mountain, North Carolina. And I think the first step is changing our story about where our power comes from and where we get our education. We have this transactional conversation about school, like we're supposed to go to school and school is supposed to educate us. We talk about, if you go to someone who's been through the system, then you ask them these questions, they're like, well, why don't you just tell me what the answer is? They want to be told the answer, not to actually discover the answer. To actually shift that paradigm in our thinking. To actually take that power back and understand that you can educate yourself. And I would say that politics and government, those are probably the least flexible and agile systems to be able to have this happen quickly. They're not going to move quickly, they're slow. So you're going to leverage the systems that are in place when they're useful, like getting your students to collaborate on how to pass the test. How are we going to beat this test? Because if we beat this test, we get more freedom to do the things we do want to do. You shift it, you make it empowering. All of a sudden you're leveraging this rule. You're not submitting to the rule. It has value to you, and if it doesn't, then you ignore it. You can create your own. Now, I said this earlier, I don't know if you guys heard me in the week. I didn't know what democratic education was 3 months ago. I backed into this world of self-organized learning, from entrepreneurship, from seeing how people go out into the world and interact with others and say, hey, let's do this. How are we going to do it? I don't know. Well, I have this. I know how to program. My dad has a warehouse. I have a garage. Let's try to make something. That's self-organized learning at its best. And it's an empowered conversation. And I think that if that conversation starts young, you have a society full of people that are empowered and that don't look to the government for solutions. They create the solutions and then implement them. That to me is what he's having.
I'm so thankful that you're really bringing up this whole piece about the elementary age kids, because really all you need to do is leave them the fuck alone and let them be. And you know what I mean, I feel like so much of my time in my work, I go out and you have to educate the parents, and you talk to them and you hold meetings and you keep going and going. There's so many homeschoolers who understand the system's broken, but these parents are still bought into school's supposed to, you know, that's the ticket, that's the ticket, that's the ticket. And you can organize all of these parents together, and it's not that hard. I mean, it really, really isn't. And then help, you know, it's all about connecting these parents who all think that this system is broken, and then educating them to allow their kids to be.
To a certain extent, you know, you have to be very careful with the parent situation, because it depends on what community of parents you're talking about. There will be certain communities where a conversation like this will make immediate sense, and a mother sitting over there will say, I'll send my child to you. But there also will be communities, and unfortunately more of them, not less, where the parents will listen and say that, you know, she was talking about some wonderful things, but anyway, it will be very good for everybody's children. I'll just keep my child where he is.
I encounter those parents all the time, but you can still maintain those relationships. And I think if you have this, you know, this energy that attracts them to you. I have got, you know, many parents that come to the school that have said, okay, you take my child. But then I also have many other parents who I plant the seed in, and then I continue the relationship, and they're allowed to keep, they can come, you know, and observe the school. You know, it's just this continued. You know, it doesn't happen overnight.
And of course, also to be on the parents' side, there is the examination system, you know, and they do have this concern. Is he going to fail in math? So okay, you're doing this self-organized thing and so on. Is it going to help his English? Will he get more marks? How many? And you can't say, I'll give you a money back guarantee that it's going to go up 3 marks.
Can you convince
convince them that there's learning in the failure, and this goes back to, like she said, entrepreneurship. Matt Murray, what if, and entrepreneur. And can you instill that in the students to think?
You know what? I mean, I don't know if this is true in this country or not, but by and large, the average middle class parent may say to you, it would be great if my son is an entrepreneur, but actually doesn't want it.
That's true.
She's actually going to be a lot happier if he's in what's called a permanent government job.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
I want to share with you something that happened in Israel, and I think it's connect the question from where the change can come. I was full-time advisor of the Mr.